Phew! Oh. That was a really productive day in the garden. Dug muck into all the beds. Pong clears the nasal passages. Tends to linger a bit, but who gives a damn? I have no intention of going anywhere. So who's going to know apart from me and the dogs? But they love it. I much prefer animals to people. Animals and plants. Birds too, as well, obviously. I've got 3 resident magpies. Lots of other birds, but they're my favourites. Much maligned. 3 for a girl. People? Strange beasts, I think. They always want you to fit in and to be just the same as they are. And quite frankly, I'd had more than enough of fitting in after a very few years at school. I was bullied mercilessly. Bloody little bitches. I decided way back then that I was having nothing more to do with people. I don't mind looking after their dogs for them, but that is as far as it goes. Just, hello, goodbye. Oh, and give us the cash, obviously. I was lucky enough to inherit this small holding from Daddy, plus a bit of dosh to get the business started. I've been running the kennels here since I was 19. 6 acres isn't a lot, but it's enough space for me and the dogs. I've got a huge veg plot. I grow enough to keep me going through the year. Animals and plants are all the company I need. I have the most marvellous conversations with plants. They're always keen to have a chat. Granted, it's a bit one-sided. Take the beans, for instance. I'd found the seeds on the internet from, I don't know, somewhere foreign. They'd cropped surprisingly well. I'd picked the crop, frozen some, pulled up the finished plant and dug over the plot. When I'd done all that, I decided I deserved a break. So I made myself a cuppa and sat admiring my efforts. I was just getting ready to start again when I dropped a couple of bean pod. They were dried out, but good enough for next year's seeds, so I sat and podded them. As the beans dropped into my hand, I was astonished to see just how beautiful they were. They gleamed with an iridescence that was frankly breathtaking. They were like tiny jewels, not white as you'd expect. I cupped the beans in my hand, whispering to them, blowing warming breath onto them, loving them. Carefully, I dropped them into my pocket, but one tiny bean dropped onto the ground. I have to say that my distress at losing that one single bean was utterly irrational. I searched for it. I think I may have even shed a tear when I finally gave up the search. But I sat down in the dirt and told it that I was sorry to leave it and that maybe it would grow when the sun came to warm it, that I hoped it would snuggle down far enough into the soil to keep warm over winter. I thought no more about it. I was busy getting things tidy over the next couple of weeks, planting a few things that would grow over the colder months, packing up canes, folding away netting, getting thoroughly knackered most days. On one of those lovely autumn days when the sun is warm and low in the sky and the birds make their final effort to remind us of their song, I noticed a seedling pushing its head up out of the ground. I could not believe it. It was the bean. I squatted down beside it and explained to it that I applauded its efforts, but really things were going to get very cold very soon. So maybe I should bring it in the house in a pot. I promise you that plant nodded. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I swear it's true. Well, in the warmth of the conservatory, that little plant grew at a prodigious rate. Within a few days, I had had to put a cane in to support it. One night, I noticed that the bean had far outgrown the cane. So I determined that the next day I would give it a bigger pot and make a wigwam for it to grow around. I was sound asleep when something woke me. I sat bolt upright, trying to decide if some human was spoiling my solitude. I listened hard, and yes, there was a sound, a gentle tapping at my bedroom door. I got the shotgun from under the bed and called out, "I've got a gun, you know," in the bravest voice I could. "You'd better just bugger off. I've got nothing worth stealing." I waited for a bit. Nothing. I was just about to curse my faulty hearing when again it came. Tap, tap, tap. "Right," I said. "Here I come, gun, dog and all." I flung open the door. At first I couldn't see anything, but then I realised there was something waving about at my feet. Startled, I jumped back and switched the light on. Would you believe it? The bean runner was right there. It had rambled its way through the house up the stair. It was beginning to curl around my leg. I unwound it, but then it wrapped around my arm. I felt threatened at first, but then realised it was just seeking security. I held the end of the runner. "Now come along, less of that," I said firmly. "I'm here and I will look after you." It seemed to look straight at me. There was a kind of gentle crooning emanating from deep within the plant. Gradually, it seemed to become calmer. In a matter of seconds, a flower appeared. It opened, developed, then wilted and died. In its place, a green pod extended. It became larger, covered with a silky down. Slowly the greenness leached away, and the sides of the pod curled back into perfect ringlets. And warm and safe within was one single beautiful bean. It looked just like, it was exactly like, oh, I'm getting old. Sometimes at night, I worry about when I can't cope anymore, about the animals maybe having to fend for themselves. I was beginning to think that perhaps I should get over my people phobia and take someone on to help me. But I don't need to worry anymore. Do I, my little beanie baby girl? You'll take care of things, won't you, my angel? Here she is. Here she is. Is it time for a walk now? I never thought I could love anything quite so much. Come on then, let's go.